and good day to you all. Welcome back to my podcast called Bravery Within. My name is Sean G. Morris. I'm an author and on my own weight loss journey, trying to get myself down to a regular level that I haven't been to since I was 15, if you really want to know the truth. Today, I'm 48 years old. So for over 30 years, I have actually been very, what they classify as morbidly obese. I'm probably still there because I'm still 100 pounds overweight and I'm still working on trying to get that off myself. So what I've been learning along the way in the past 15 months of my own weight loss journey, remember, we don't use the term diet here. It's a weight loss journey because even when you cross that finish line, you got smiles on your face, you have every right to be proud of yourself, we still have to maintain the weight off. So when I get to that point, I'll be able to have tips and everything else there for you there to try to help you through that point. But as of for now, for the past 15 months, I just want to go over some of the things that I have learned, and I'm hoping that some of it will actually help you in the long run as well with your weight loss journey. Today, for episode 2, we're going to be talking about getting into a healthy routine while learning to slow down and look at things from a different perspective. I can't really say how much a routine is going to help pull you through your weight loss journey. That's one thing that I'm very stuck in, is I do the same thing every day. It really helps out with the mental aspect is what I've learned, because you can count on things being a certain way. You get up at a certain time, you go to work at a certain time, you come home, you know at a certain time you're going to eat. I know it really sounds monotonous and boring, but when you break it down, it actually is really helpful to have those boundaries, to have that little bit of help, that structure to help get you through, because you're already doing a lot of changes to your body. You're already doing a lot of changes to your mind. It's incredible what you're going through. Everything that I do, for my weight loss journey and everything else there is all geared towards getting to that, basically the end result and stuff there, to where I don't look in the mirror anymore and I go, ugh. Now, I know that's negative self-talk, and we're going to be talking about that later. And like I said, I'm still a work in progress myself. So that's why I'm hoping maybe that you'll take a little bit of time to listen to my podcast to know that, hey, guess what? I'm human too. I'm still trying to learn how to go through this. I'm just hoping that some of the things that I've gone through, some of the pitfalls that I've experienced, maybe I can pass on to you so that way you don't go through them. That's all I can hope for all of this here. So, if we're going to get down to brass tacks, let's take a look at some of the things we're going to be talking about today. One of the things we're going to be talking about is why getting into a routine will help your weight loss journey. It's very important that you stick to a routine. It helps mentally and emotionally, just like I talked about before. Another thing we're going to talk about is getting up at least 30 minutes sooner than you used to, and why that is so helpful. It's incredible when you get up and you get used to it. I know in the beginning it's kind of like, oh, good grief, I should be in bed. There are reasons for it, and we'll go over it today. Disconnecting from your electronic devices a little bit every day. That is huge for all of us. We are so dependent on our phones, our tablets, and everything else and stuff there. So I'm going to go into a little bit why that's going to help you in the end. Then the last thing that we're going to be talking about is learning to enjoy the little things in life. I can't stress enough there to give yourself those little rewards. See the things there that are going to help you and everything else. It's a whole different ballgame when you start enjoying the little things in life. So that's one thing we're going to talk about. So with all that being said, let's get started. First, why getting into a routine will help your weight loss journey. Routines, now keep in mind, as long as they're healthy, keep you going down the right path and can help you when you're having those days that you're struggling. We all have them, especially when we're stressed out at work, stressed out at home, things don't go right, water heater blows up, car breaks down. There's all kinds of reasons there to basically you can get derailed. So by staying in the routine, that gives you the structure that you're looking for and allows you to keep going and moving forward, because you know that, okay, this is going to level out, we'll get this working again. Another good reason to stick with a routine is, honestly, it can actually help you with some of the depression and the depressing days that you're going to go through. This is the best time to start building healthy relationships. That way, when you do struggle and you have those days where it's like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through this day? If you have a good friend to talk to, if you have a parent that you can talk to, if you have a religious person that you can talk to, it's amazing how just if they can take 10 minutes of their day and just listen to what you're going through, it's going to help you all the way along. You won't have that temptation quite as bad as, okay, I'm going to use food to basically eat my feelings. That's going to pull me through. I'll be honest. I've done that for 30 years and it landed me over 300 pounds overweight. Like I said in my first podcast, I ate my feelings. I was raised to where men are not allowed to talk about their feelings. We're not allowed to have feelings, and you compartmentalize everything. That way of thinking got me into a lot of trouble. That's why I am where I am today. Depression will kick in. That's when I just started to eat more. And then I ate, and then guess what? I got depressed about eating too much. So it's really a vicious cycle. And the only way that I have learned to break it, there's lots of counselors out there that are going to help you. And I'd like to think, even though that I'm old school, I'd like to think that there's a lot of newer, fresh-minded people out there and stuff there with a little bit more open mind than what I've got. I'm learning how to become more open-minded, but like I said, I'm a work in progress myself. Counselors are okay. But when I have a bad day, I have a couple good friends that I talk to. I let them know what's going on. I take 15 minutes, sit down with them. They listen to my problems. Sometimes they give me advice, sometimes I don't. I'm not always looking for advice. Sometimes you just need that release of, oh, I need to get this off my chest. I can't hold it in anymore. And if you have that outlet, that is going to help your weight loss journey out so much. You're not going to be running to the fridge every time that you have a bad day. You're going to be able to go, okay, I'm going to text my friend. We actually did call. We used our cell phones for calling once in a while. Going to call and find out, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to get this off my chest. Can I just vent to you for a few minutes? By doing that, you're going to keep depression at bay. You're going to be able to feel better about yourself. You're going to be able to feel like, okay, I got this. I'm starting over. No problem. Let's take another run at this. It's incredible just by talking to somebody what it can help. Along with the depression, an effective routine, healthy one though, remember, can also reduce stress, which leads to better mental health. And the more time you take to relax will also basically turn out to give you a little bit less anxiety. As I've told you before and stuff, I'm an introvert. I like staying home. My safe zone is home. That's where I'm talking to you from, is actually from my home. I don't have some big fancy studio that I drive to and record these. I'm actually doing it at home. So once I get home, I have a safe area to basically de-stress. I've set up my home to where there's comfortable colors, my big soft chair. I've got my puppy at my feet. If not, we're playing tug of war. We're playing fetch. My son comes home stuff. I get to talk to him and talk to him about, okay, this is a bad day that I had. I just need a few minutes, and he's always happy to sit there and listen. That's one thing that you need to set up is a nice, safe area. Whatever that is for you, it doesn't matter. If that means if you wanted to, go down to the park, or drive through the hills, or whatever it is, but you always want to have a safe zone to go to get rid of the stress, get rid of the depression while you're going through this journey, because there's just all of a sudden, sometimes it's just all of a sudden, and I can be hungry and it's like, I'm not going to make it. The depression kicks in. So if I talk to somebody instead of going and eating, the whole bag of Oreos, hey, that's considered a win. I didn't put all those calories into my body. I didn't put all that sugar in my body. Not that Oreos are bad. I love Oreos. Don't get me wrong. Those are just absolutely awesome. But I do know that on my journey, I can't have them. Or if I do have them, I can only have one or two, depending on how many calories they are. So instead of going down the road of, okay, I can only have one, well, for me, one always turned into 10. So it's just best that I stay away from them. So I found other outlets for trying to get through the day, working with my stress and everything else. And it helped. Routines really, really help that. Make sure that, you go to bed at the same time, whatever the time is, 9 o'clock. Remember, you need to adjust to back up to allow for a half hour, which we're going to talk about in a little bit here and stuff there. you need to readjust your times maybe a little bit so that way you get the full 8 hours of sleep. I still have trouble sleeping. I've had trouble sleeping for probably 2 decades. There are some times that I only get 3-4 hours of sleep. But the bad part of that is I struggle the next day because it's like, oh, I am so tired. I need to eat to stay awake. Well, we all know that you can't do that. Every time that I go to try to eat something, I think, okay, those are calories. I got to find a way to not eat them because I don't have the time to burn them back off. So I just find ways of basically, sleeping. I get up early in the morning. I get moving. There's other things that you can do to basically help yourself move past all the troubles that you have, the stress and the depression. Just take it a step at a time. And I know everybody tells you one day at a time. And I agree, one day at a time. But there are times, I'm not going to lie, I got to go hour by hour just to get through mentally. So that way I don't have a breakdown or I don't, just like say, oh, throw it to the wind. Guess what? I'm done. I'm going to go out and eat 6 double cheeseburgers and some fries and blow everything right out of the water. So make sure you stick to a routine. Get up at a certain time, eat at a certain time, you go to work at a certain time. Some of you exercise at the same time. Some of you might want to do yoga or, meditation. Anything there to try to help get your mind centered so that way you stay away from it, which in the end, if you do better with your sleep schedule, your bedtime habits and everything there, it's going to affect your mental sharpness and your emotional well-being and overall energy. You feel a lot better. I know I do when I get a good night's rest, so I do everything I can. I make sure I go to bed at the same time every night, so that way I keep in that routine. It just helps, and to be honest, it helps my puppy out too. So then she knows, okay, well, we're set up in a routine. Most animals, they enjoy the routine, so just go along for the ride. One thing that I learned, I was reading about stuff there a while ago, is if you set up good daily habits during the early stages of basically your weight loss journey or any changes in your life, that can actually help you be successful through life. Which in the other turn, if you look at the other way, research has found that poor daily habits of not doing this, modern society and everything else, you actually slide towards negative behaviors such as quitting or dropping out of school or just giving up on life. So sticking to a routine, getting good sleep, eating the good foods, all of that's going to turn around for you. I know I don't say exercise a lot, but hey, if you want to exercise, you go right on ahead. Keep in mind, I've done all my weight loss without exercise, so sometimes it doesn't pop in my head right away, but just know that that's a good thing for you. Another thing that you want to take into account is self-control and self-discipline. Those are really, really hard. We all struggle with it. I'm not going to try to lie to you about that one there. There are days that, the self-control comes into, do I really need that chocolate bar or do I really need that piece of cheesecake? It takes time to develop those and get those solid so that way you feel that you're in control. You're going to feel like a wreck and you're going to feel completely out of control when you first start down your weight loss journey. But just keep in mind, it is going to get better. It will get easier. We all have days where it's just like, okay, you know what, I can't do this anymore. But you'll always find a way to make it work, make it better. Trust me. So establishing good daily habits, good routine and everything else will just absolutely help you in the end. Trust me, it just helps all the way across the board. I got rid of a lot of negative stuff that I did when I first started out on this journey. And after a little bit, I got to be honest, it's amazing. I watch what I do. I'm really careful with what I say and what I do, how I handle things, what I eat, of course, and stuff there. I make sure that, okay, how is this going to affect my weight loss journey? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Do I need to make changes? But one of the biggest telltale signs, and it may sound funny and you're probably going to laugh about this, but one thing that I use to make sure that I'm on the right track, being a good person, thinking of other people, helping people out, is I hate mirrors. Don't get me wrong, they're one of my phobias. But look in the mirror and see who's looking back at yourself. If it's somebody that you're not real happy with or you're not really feeling it, then start making changes. So that way when you walk up to that mirror, and you could still be overweight. I'm still overweight. But I look in the mirror when I get going in the morning, and I look and I say, am I happy with that person? Is that somebody that I can live with? I can't stress enough to make sure that you're happy with yourself. You got to be able to live with yourself. You're the only person that can. So when you're looking in that mirror, use that basically as your guide for pointing straight north, knowing that you're doing everything right, you're being as good as you can, you're being as helpful as you can, being the best human really that you can be. That all actually plays into it. The more you can help folks out, the more you can talk to them. As weird as it is, open a door for somebody, and when they walk through, say, have a great day. Just anything. You don't know how that's going to affect people, because they could be having a bad day, but that one little act of kindness could go to changing their whole day. They could look at different things, and they may end up returning the favor for somebody else. That helps somebody else. It's just a string of events that get put into play. That's what you want to try to set up through all of this. And trust me, it does help in the end, making sure that you're okay. Another thing you want to look at is healthy routines. They promote good and positive self-care habits. That's one thing that you want to make sure is you're always taking care of yourself. You're doing massive changes. You're taking the right steps going forward to take care of yourself. But some of the other things that you can do that help out the psychological and your physical well-being are relaxation techniques such as meditation and yoga. I've tried them a little bit. I've done meditation. It's amazing how it recharges your body. I'm not flexible enough and my body's too broken to try yoga. You're on your own on that one there. I can't help you there. But meditation I can, because I can sit there and let my mind go just clear and allow myself to basically recharge myself. It's actually really cool. So if you get a chance, try it sometime. It actually works. Everybody that knows me is going to go, you meditate? There's a lot of stuff that I do that you don't know. Keep in mind, sleep routines are crucial to our mental, psychological, and physical well-being. Keeping in a good sleep cycle is vital to weight loss, overall health, everything. So make sure that you're getting, do your best for 8 hours. I know you've heard this, and I know you get tired of it, and I'm trying not to basically reinvent the wheel, but this is actually one area that when I made the change to do better, this actually helped out incredibly much. It's just getting good amounts of sleep. And there's nothing wrong with Saturday afternoon, if you're feeling completely run down, take an hour power nap. There's nothing wrong with that. The world is not going to blow up because you're not up and looking at your Facebook status, or you're texting somebody back there because they just want to know what you're doing for supper or whatever it is. Remember to take an hour for yourself there. Take a little bit of time. It allows you to keep the mind focused and keep rocking and rolling, so that way you go the right direction. Second thing that I want to talk about here in the big thing is getting up at least a half hour sooner than you're used to. All right, I heard every one of you grown out there, and I can understand that. There's a lot of people that aren't morning people, and I run into them all the time. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you what my typical daily routine is. So that way, maybe it will help you think of, okay, this is okay. I can take this and this and this and this, and I can work it into my own routine. So on a normal day, work day that is, weekends, throw it out the window. I still get up early. I don't get up at 4:15, but most of the time I'm up by 6:30. My puppy won't let me sleep anymore, so guess what? You're up. I work 7 to 3:30 every day. My day starts every morning at 4:15. That's 2 hours and 45 minutes before I have to be to work. You're all looking and going, you're crazy. Don't talk to me anymore. I am now done with this podcast. I can understand that. Hang with me. Let me explain what I do. I get up in the morning at 4:15, take care of my puppy, feed her, water, everything there. I iron my clothes. And then you do the typical cleanup, the shower, and everything else and stuff there. Then I come back out. I prep my lunch and everything else. Typically that's done the night before, so all I got to do is just throw it into my lunch pail, and guess what? Away we go. And then after that, I always make sure that I got 20-25 minutes to just sit in my recliner. And during that time, I play with Willow. We play tug of war. She'll play fetch. Sometimes she just jumps up on my lap and just sits there, and she just wants, her head patted and stuff, or she just wants a little lovin's. So that's what we do. I do that all the way, and I leave for work at about 6:20 in the morning. Now, granted, I've been up for 2 hours and 5 minutes already. You're all probably thinking, good Lord, what's wrong with you? You need help. Actually, I feel good because while I'm playing with Willow, that is my chance to get my mind into work, to get everything going the right way, to plan my day and everything else. You will be utterly surprised at how much better you feel when you get to work. You're going to think, oh my goodness, what is this guy? He's officially lost it. The diet has gotten to him. No, it hasn't. This actually helps you. So once I leave for work at 6:20, then I go to my favorite little convenience store. And my breakfast, I buy every morning. I don't sit there and I don't make up anything. I don't sit there and make eggs and sausage and then stink the house up there with everything there. Leave the mess on the counter so I have to deal with it when I get home. I am a huge neat freak. That would drive me nuts. I'd never make it at work. I'd end up coming home on my lunch break and cleaning and then going back to work. I wouldn't eat. That throws off the routine. Guess what? Downhill. Here comes the Oreos. Well, guess what? We can't do that. So I pick up breakfast in the morning and I pick up my, Mountain Dew. I have to have my Mountain Dew to get going in the morning. For one, just to get moving. Two, to keep my migraines under control. I have some wonderful people that I get to talk to every morning. They're in the deli area. They work in the convenience store and everything else. They are fantastic people. They help me get through the day. I go in and I stand there and I talk to them for 5-10 minutes, just seeing how their day goes. The deli area is run by Mel. She has an outstanding team. Ronnie's there, John's there, Tim's there. They're fantastic. Every morning when I come in, they're always saying good morning. They make sure that I always get 2 cheesy brats and a Mountain Dew. That's my breakfast. That's about 500 calories. That's how I get going. Most of it is protein. So that's what I use to hold myself through till lunchtime. It's a low carb, low calorie, everything that you need to get your day started. Breakfast is important. Don't skip it. Don't miss it. Find a way to get it. Just make sure you always eat breakfast. I can't stress it enough how important it is. There's also 3 gentlemen that I walk by every morning. As soon as I walk in the door, I don't even hardly get in the door, and they're already starting to throw little jabs at me. They ask how my day is going. They are so much fun to talk to. That helps the routine. It gets my mind going in a positive way. So I start thinking. I start basically coming up with little funny puns, and I take all that to work. And by that time, I'm at work by about 6:45. Then I can just go into work 7, work all the way till 12:15. Then I go out to my truck and I actually have lunch, half hour away from everybody. I'm away from phones, I'm away from emails, I'm away from everything. I decompress during that half hour and I eat my lunch that I prepared because I know the calories that I can count, and I know it's low in carbs, I know it's low in calories, everything right where I need to be. And then I also take my supplement at lunch to help me get through the day. Once there, I go back into work till 3:30, come home. At I get home about 3:45, and at that point, I start figuring out what I'm going to do for supper. I'll sit down and play with Willow for a half hour, 45 minutes, because she's been by herself. I want to make sure that she knows that I love her. Then I'll get up and prep supper. Typically, my son comes home at that point. I clean up the kitchen. I prep tomorrow's meal. And then if there's anything left of energy-wise, and you're probably all sitting there going, okay, I'm done. I can't even listen to this anymore. I am wore out just listening to him. Well, guess what? It actually does get easier, and you'll actually come to enjoy it the more you do it. If I'm lucky enough, my son and I will sit around for an hour and talk about our days, anything that's bothering us, and then off to bed. I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. You're all looking at each other going, okay, this man, that's it, done. Officially delete this podcast. I don't ever want to see it again. But trust me, by getting up that 30 minutes sooner, I get up way earlier. You don't have to get up that early, but give yourself an extra half hour in the morning. It allows you to center. It allows you to get your mind in the right place. It allows you to just, surprisingly, relax. My son gets out of bed. Within 15 minutes, he's out the door. I have no idea how he does it. I know he's young and stuff there, but I still can't figure it out. I'm old. I need the time to get the batteries going and get everything up and running. So keep that in mind. getting up basically half hour early, it allows you to mentally prepare for the day. And let me explain it this way, so that way maybe it'll make a little bit more sense to you. A lot of you, I'm sure, live in warm areas, but in my area we live in a cold area. We have a lot of winter, a lot of snow, and everything else. One thing that we do in the morning is we let our vehicles warm up for 10-15 minutes. That way it's easier on the engine, the fluids get moving. That way the transmission turns either. Your windows typically cleared off from the snow and the frost and ice that we get up here. The reason I'm saying all this is you cannot go outside, turn the vehicle on, put it to the floor, drop it and drive, and go. You can get away with that for a little bit, but at some point you're going to blow the engine up, you're going to take the transmission out, you can take out other seals, you can't see where you're going because you probably didn't scrape your windows, and that's bad. And your body is the same way. Give yourself 10 to 15 minutes from when that alarm clock goes off to basically start up and give your body time to kick over. Keep in mind, you've been in basically idle for 6 to 8 hours. You haven't really moved. You haven't really, whatever. Maybe some of you do cartwheels in the sleep. I don't know. Me, when I go to sleep, gone. I don't move. But you still need to give your brain time to fire back up. You need to give your time for your heart to get moving, to get pumping at a basically non-idle level. Get the blood moving through you and everything else and stuff there. Allow your muscles time to wake up and get moving. If you don't, the chances of having a heart attack are surprisingly high, because you basically jump out of bed, get running, and everything else. You're doing the same thing as what you did to that vehicle. You're going to take the vehicle out in a short order. Your heart's going to do the same thing. So be really careful with that. Maybe some of you are lucky and you say, you know what, Sean, you're crazy. I do it every morning and I'm just fine. And that's okay. All I'm doing is just suggesting a different way of getting up in the morning and getting going. I'm trying to get you to understand to slow down a little bit. We live in an instant gratification society. Everything has to be instant. There are times that people text me. I haven't texted back in 3.6 seconds. They're calling me and going, did you die? No, I just stay away from my phone typically. I always respond, but it might take me 5 minutes to get there. We live with instant loans, instant food, instant starting vehicles, instant messaging. It's amazing. Everything has gone so fast and so instant. Same way with emails. You know, there was a time back in the 80s and stuff there, we didn't have caller ID. And if you needed to get a hold of somebody, guess what? You left a message or you called back, one of the two. You had to wait. Sometimes it was 24 hours before that person got back to you. What I'm saying is back then, I think things were a lot simpler and things slowed down. With the advent and the invention of cell phones, emails, instant messaging, and everything else, we have gotten to the point where we have been programmed that we have to move 100% of the time. I couldn't tell you how many times that I sit in a restaurant and I'm heartbroken because I see people looking at their phones and not talking to each other. And it doesn't matter. The age means nothing. I mean, I see it from all the way from age 3 all the way to age 103. There's no discerning, a number there. It's terrifying because if you can't, I mean, I see people that are sitting at the same table and texting each other. That's really sad. They need to slow down and start talking to each other and start enjoying each other's company a little bit more. We need to get back to that. And this is going to help your weight loss by slowing down a little bit, giving yourself time to think. Remember, that helps de-stress and keeps depression away. So take the time to, maybe go to a park and just look around for a while. Take 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be a ton of time. Just sit there and listen to the birds, watch the bunnies hop. If you're lucky, you get deer running around. We have tons of them around here, so we see deer all the time. Just anything basically to slow down and take it easy. That's one thing I think will help you a lot. It helped me a lot. I love going up in the hills. I love going for drives. I'm a horrible singer. If anybody ever heard me, you definitely would change the channel. But up in the hills when I'm by myself or I got Willow with me, she don't care. We sing along to each other, and she probably sings better than I do. But I turn the music up, roll the windows down, and just relax. Sometimes I'll find a back trail to sit and just listen to the wind go through the trees. listen to the animals moving around. It's actually really incredible once you start doing that. So keep in mind, slow down, take it a little bit easier, and get up a half hour early. Start allowing yourself to get going slower and relax a little bit. It's going to help you in the weight loss journey that you're on. It's also going to help you with stress. It's going to help you with depression. It's going to help you with sleeping at night. So that's something that I think you need to consider and work into your routine. Third thing is a huge one. And I was basically broaching the subject and stuff there in the last section. Disconnecting from your electronic devices a little bit every day. I'm not saying you need to look like you're out in the middle of the prairie with no internet, no cable, no phone, and your only friend basically is a stick that's laying out in the yard. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is take a half hour to an hour every day, put the phone down, put your tablets down, shut the TV off, whatever it is, and just relax. Like I said, we live in an instant society. You have to be bombarded with information. You have to be bombarded with all kinds of other things there, updates, emails. Disconnect from that. I do that every day. I just shut everything off. I'll put on some soft music that I have. Sometimes I cheat and I turn on YouTube and I'll find a fireplace that crackles and everything else and just let it run. It helps me disconnect from the day. It allows my stress to slow down, go down, and it helps. I don't have a lot of depression anymore, but I do get it from time to time. So when I do, I just make sure that I just flip that on and just relax. Sometimes Willow will jump up on my lap and we just relax together. That's things that you're going to want to find to help yourself through it. Because like I said, sure, you're eating less, but mental is absolutely huge. Your emotional state is absolutely huge to help make sure you're going to make it through to the finish line. Expand on hobbies that you have or find new hobbies. That's going to get you up and get you moving a little bit. Like I said before, I'm an introvert. If you don't know what that is, Google it. You'll know in about 3.6 seconds what an introvert is. But some of the things that we like to do are reading, painting. Sometimes we like to go on for walks, which is great for burning calories and stuff there. I personally like to sit on the deck, watch the birds at the bird feeder and stuff there as they go through. Like I said before, we have deer walk through the yard, so you get to see them. Yoga and meditation, great there. Like I said before, I do meditation. And if you get to know me over these podcasts and everything else, you're going to look and go, I cannot see you meditating. Trust me, I do. It does make a big difference. Make some music. Some of you are artistic out there. You may like the piano, or you may like the piano, or my favorite instrument, the cello. There's something about it that is so relaxing, and it's wonderful. I'll turn on classical music. No groaning, I heard that, but I'll turn on classical music. It helps me relax. It helps with my migraines when I get them, so that way I decompress and allow my head to feel better. Maybe working in the flower gardens, or maybe you grow a regular garden where you're growing tomatoes, you're growing peppers. You're going to learn real fast with me. I hate vegetables. That's why I'm not going to talk about them. They're disgusting. They can just go away. They make multivitamins for that. I do like a good chef salad from time to time and stuff there, and I will work some corn and peas in. But I'm going to be honest, to me, vegetables are the enemy. I don't go down that road, but you work them into your weight loss program however you want to do it. It's completely up to you. All I can say is just do anything that makes you happy. I try to find hobbies that don't cost a lot. That way you can stick with them, because you're already dedicating so much money to the food and everything else of this weight loss. This is just going to help all the way across the board to keep going. But make sure you find some hobbies that don't cost a whole lot, but that's up to you. If you've got more money to work with, hey, do whatever you want. Like I said, it's your body, your life. You go ahead and just do it however you want to. These are just at best suggestions. This is how I'm getting through it, so I'm hoping it will help you too within time. The final section that I wanted to talk about is learning to enjoy the little things in life. That is harder to do than you think. We are so programmed to move. We have to be barraged with information. We have to be doing this. We have to be doing that. I can't stress enough, like I've done through this whole thing, slow down. There's nothing wrong with taking 5 minutes and just relaxing, taking deep breaths. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be moving 100% of the time. The jobs keep us stressed out as it is. The jobs expect us to do the work of 3 different people constantly. So when you get home, find a way to just decompress. Like I said, put on some music, whatever it is. Maybe you got a favorite TV show. Hey, go for it. Hey, I'm a nerd. I love Star Trek. I love everything about Star Trek. That's what's got me through my younger years and stuff there. I still watch it on a daily basis. Go ahead and laugh, whatever you want to do. I love Star Trek. There's just no doubt about it. I know you Star Wars fans are out there going, boo, boo. But guess what? I don't even mind those either. So, because that, to me, that is always a positive outlook, an optimistic outlook that they have with that series. And that's what I really, really like about it. And that's what I've taken away from it. I actually think I've become a better person because I take a lot of their beliefs and I work them into my own life. Go ahead and laugh. Go ahead and say whatever you want to say. But to me, it's helped make me who I am today. But if I can encourage anybody there to do it, when you get a minute, we're rolling into spring. Take a second, and I know it sounds funny, take your shoes, take your socks off, walk in the yard in the green grass. Just feel. It's incredible the recharging power Mother Nature has. Just walk around in it, and sometimes maybe just sit in it and allow your legs and your feet to actually touch the ground and stuff there in the grass. You'd be surprised on how much you can actually just feel the stress just come out of you. And you'll feel so much better. Trust me, I do it all the time. It is fantastic. That's part of the little things in life that you can do. If you have to, just do whatever you can to disconnect for a little while from all of our electronic devices. Keep away from all of that stuff as much as you can. You know, me, I answer probably 100 emails a day. I know there's others out there that say, hey, guess what? I got 1,000. Well, you know what? You win the battle. I'll let you win this one here because there's no way I want to listen to 1,000 emails. I can't get through that many. I used to at my old job, average between 250 and 500 per day. All I did was sit there and click, reply, click, forward. You know, it just was too much, and I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore. Everything that I do basically is on a limited basis. It's fantastic for keeping my mental health in place and allowing me to focus on my weight loss journey. All that being said, find anything that brings you just what I classify as pure joy. If you don't know what that is, sit there and watch a puppy run around in the yard, run around in the house. They can take a chewy and it's the world to them. They can take a ball and it's the world to them. They can sit there and just be with you, and that's called pure joy. I know you have some people have kitties out there. Absolutely, watch them while you're doing it there. I've even have fish tanks, and I don't know if there's a lot of pure joy there, but you know, I watched them and they brought me a lot of joy. So just find anything you can to help yourself out, because all of that there, it all goes towards your mental health. And when you got that under control, and so you feel better and you can walk the walk and talk the talk about, hey, this is what I'm doing, trust me, it helps on your weight loss journey. It has helped me so much by purging myself some dark thoughts, some traumas, which we're going to talk about some of that stuff there in future podcasts. But the more that you can just let go, and I know that kind of has a 60s vibe to it, if you know where I'm going with this. But I gotta believe, hey, the folks, they were classified as hippies back then. They had it figured out. I may not agree with everything they did, but you know what? They just kind of let everything roll. And that's what you got to kind of pick up a little bit through your weight loss journey. It helps with your mental. It helps with your physical. It helps everything. Trust me, by relieving yourself of that stress. Whatever it takes, it's up to you. You know your budget, you know your bodies. That's what you're going to want to stay within and do whatever it takes to make yourself feel better. So, in closing, we're going to end this podcast here shortly here because you probably all had enough of me talking already. I'm hoping that you understand a little bit more about having and keeping a healthy routine and the effects on your weight loss journey. If any of this is kind of overwhelming, go back and listen to the podcast again. Hopefully you'll pick some more things up out of it that will help you through. Hopefully you understand, and I know y'all groaned, but why getting up sooner in the morning can help you out with your journey. Trust me, it makes a huge difference on your mental and physical well-being. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. Just a simple half hour in the morning makes a big difference. Don't do it at night because you're tired. Everybody says, well, I'm just going to swap it out for that. Hey, if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not saying anything. If that's where you shut it all down, that's where you feel better, then do it at night. But to me, I'm a morning person, and it's easier for me to get through the day if I give myself a chance to just decompress. Here we go. I'm organized. I got my day figured out. This is what I'm going to do. Here we go. But you'll find your own way. This is just a suggestion. You do it however you want to. Remember, disconnect from your electronic devices every day, even if you only do a half hour. Trust me. You put everything down, shut everything off, but a little bit of soft music. Most people can't go more than about 5 minutes because their phone is rang 16 times going, hello, update, hello, message, hello, email, but I silence mine so I can't see it. I flip it over so that way I'm not tempted. In the beginning, you start getting the shakes. It's kind of like giving up sugar, I gotta be honest. But once you start learning to disconnect, you actually feel better. It goes a long ways. Trust me, try it, do it a little bit at a time, and just start saying, okay, I'm done. Here we go. I just need a few minutes. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself a little bit of a break. Trust me, it helps all the way. Learning to start enjoying the little things in life. Once you start embracing them, like I told you, walk through the grass in your toes, maybe sit on the deck, watch the animals, take a bubble bath, read a book, just anything like that. Play a piece of a musical piece. I have no artistic talent whatsoever. I can write books. I've published my own books, but I can't paint anything. I tried to draw a stick figure and messed it up. I don't even try anymore. My son is brilliant with that stuff. He can play the trumpet. He can paint. There's nothing. He's a Renaissance man. I give up trying to keep up with him. He just blows me out of the water. But you'll find something to help yourself through as well. So take the time, and the self-introspection that you're going to do by learning this and relearning who you are. I am not the same person I was 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago. I keep changing. I keep learning about myself. You can think it's funny all you want, but I'm a Taurus. I did all kinds of research on that. I've done research on my life path number. I have done research on what it means to be an introvert. Trust me, once you start learning and you start doing some self-introspection, it scared me in the beginning. I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this is who I am. But by doing that, it cleared out a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of negative energies out of my body, and it helps me on a daily basis stick to my weight loss journey. All my weight loss goals, knowing I'm going to get to the pant size I want to get to the shirt size that I want to. So just learn to factor all that in. If you have questions about it, remember, you can email me at SeanGMorris@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to see if I can help you with it. I've showed, I've told, I've written all kinds of different things about basically the Taurus and the life path numbers and everything else that helps you. Chakras, they're huge. I know it sounds funny. Some of you are going out there, okay, now he really has just dove off the deep end and stuff here by talking about this. Trust me, I thought it was all hokey too about 10 years ago, and then I started looking into it, and now it's a way of my life. I have so many other things that I do to make sure that I protect my good energy, my positive energy, keep the negative world out as much as I possibly can. So when I come home, I feel comfortable, I can relax, I can decompress. So trust me, it helps in the end. So, okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm starting to hear the music kick in a little bit here, so I got to fade out and get out of here. So I'm going to leave you with my dad joke of the day. Here we go, so that way hopefully you laugh a little bit here. To all my lumberjack friends out there, just know that to me, you're a cut above the rest. Thanks so much. Go ahead and laugh a little bit. It helps you a little bit. All my love and support in your journey in life. Sean.